We will be reading a beautiful Murli, that is one second. That is dated 30 January 2010, to be an embodiment of the experience of self-respect in all four subjects and use the authority of experience. So this is a beautiful Murli where Baba has explored what is called as embodiment of the experience. Okay, and why is it necessary? Um, why often we try to make a lot of efforts but not able to accomplish, and how will this embodiment ultimately lead us to success in service or anything for that matter. So very beautifully Baba has started the Murli with a small experiences and leading that to the eventually a big seva. A lot of repetition Baba has done for us to make the point clear, but ultimately what Baba wants to focus today is how can we become embodiment of experience and sustain it throughout. So let's start reading. Om Shanti. Today, Bab Dada, the creator of the Brahman world, is seeing his Brahman world everywhere. Each Brahman is a special soul in the whole Brahman world. You are one out of the multi-millions because you have recognized the Father who has come in an ordinary body. Bab Dada is giving love from his heart to the children who have merged him in their heart. Each child is experiencing himself to be loved by such a father and is experiencing the father to be merged in his or her heart. For the father, every child is extremely lovely and loved by all. All of you children have issued a challenge to all souls that you are those who have a yogi life. So now I would like everyone to ponder on this statement that you are not those who just have yoga, but you are those who have a yogi life. योग लगाने वाले योगी नहीं, लेकिन योगी जीवन वाले योगी. Just think for a moment, what does this mean? Because based on this, the entire Murli is reciting. You are not those who just have yoga, but you are those who have a yogi life. What is it to be a yogi life? No need to share, just think for yourself. I'll pause for a few seconds and then we'll go ahead. Okay, so keep the answers to yourself. We'll take the sharings after the Murli. A life is not just for 2 to 4 hours. What Baba refers is, like we mentioned that we did 2 hours of yoga, Amrit Vela 1 hour, Numasham 1 hour, or whatever traffic control. So Baba is mentioning a life is not just for 2 to 4 hours. A life is for all time. So while walking and moving around and performing actions, you are constant yogis who have a yogi life. Whether you are sitting in yoga or doing any other work, you are karma yogis. The aim of your life is to be constant yogis. Do you experience your yogi life to be a natural life? Do you experience your yogi life to be a natural life? Bap Dada is seeing the sparkling fortune on the forehead of each child. What is he seeing? Each child of mine is one who has self-respect and is a self-sovereign, that is, a master of the self. Why? Where there is self-respect, there cannot be body consciousness. Important statement. From the beginning to the end, until now, Bap Dada has given every child different types of self-respect. If you were to remember your self-respect now and continue to turn the beats of each point of self-respect, you would become an embodiment of many types of self-respect and become absorbed in that self-respect. So, Baba is asking us, if you were to remember your self-respect now and continue to turn the beats of each point of self-respect, you would become an embodiment of many types of self-respect and become absorbed in that self-respect. So a tool Baba is mentioning to become embodiment of self-respect is to turn the beads of self-respect. Just like we have this mala in, uh, the people chant by turning the beads of the rosary. So if we, of course, we don't have to chant, but if we remember these self-respect, ever since we become Baba's child till now, we have got a huge list. There was another Murli last year where Baba focused on the garland of self-respect, and there were a couple of pictorials also shared. Let me know if you all don't have. We have that very much handy. So if we just read out one self-respect each hour or whenever we get time, and we try to churn on those, automatically we become embodiment. That's what Baba is mentioning here. You would become an embodiment of many types of self-respect and become absorbed in that self-respect. However, even now, Bab Dada doesn't like one thing about the children. Hmm? So now Baba is mentioning where the hardship comes. Let's see what Baba has to say. Do you know what is that? When some children say that they sometimes have to labor to stabilize themselves in their self-respect, that they want to do this, but that it sometimes take them effort, then the father cannot bear to see the effort of the Almighty Authority children, because where there is love, there is no labor. Again, the golden statement Baba is mentioning: where there is love, there is no labor. Where there is labor, there is lack of love. So if we are taking efforts to sustain the self-respect, probably there is a lack of love. That's what Baba is mentioning. Today at Amrit Vela, Bab Dada turned around all the Brahmins everywhere in this land and abroad. Bab Dada toured around all the Brahmins everywhere in this land and abroad. And what did he see? Some children were sitting in their self-respect. They were thinking that they were seated on Bab Dada's heart throne. They were thinking this. They were making effort to stabilize themselves in this self-respect. But what was the weakness that Bab Dada saw? They remembered the self-respect. They were thinking about it. But the weakness visible, was in being an embodiment of self-respect, is being an image of experience, and in being an embodiment of the authority of experience. So what was the challenge? Baba is mentioning that today everybody was thinking about the self-respect. They were trying to stabilize themselves. But what was the weakness? Weakness visible was in being an embodiment of self-respect. So basically, if I have to use Hindi words, स्वमान को याद रखना, स्वमान के स्वरूप बनना. Embodiment means swarup. It's becoming embodiment of that. In being the image of experience and in being an embodiment of the authority of experience, there are many authorities, but the greatest authority is the authority of experience. And the Almighty Authority has given you the experience of self-respect. So they were making effort, but they did not become embodiments of experience. Bab Dada saw that while children sit, they even think about this, but only some are embodiments of experience. In that experience, not even the slightest body consciousness of any type can pull you towards itself. Important statement. So Baba is focusing on the embodiment of experience. Although if we have to ask each one of us, we might tell a huge list of whatever titles Baba has given us. But how much experience we have done of those titles, that is what Baba wants to highlight here. Not even the slightest body consciousness of any type can pull you towards itself. That is the end result of being an embodiment of experience. So to become an embodiment of experience, to become lost in the experience of being an karma yogi while performing action is now a lot more essential. Become an embodiment in every situation, in every subject, become an embodiment of experience. So Baba is focusing on us having experience in every situation, in every subject. So we can list down what all situations comes out during the day, and in those situations, how can we apply the embodiment of experience? And in every subject, all the 4 subjects which Baba has given us, how can we apply those in those situations? Whether it is knowledge, yoga, dharana, or service, become an embodiment of experience in all 4 subjects. Even Maya cannot shake someone who is experienced, and this is why today Bap Dada wants to see all the children as embodiments of experience. There is a difference between hearing and thinking about it. And in being an embodiment of the experience, whatever you think, very important statement, let's focus. Being an embodiment of experience, whatever you think, whatever self-respect you want to stabilize yourself in, become stable in being the embodiment of that experience. This is why Baba often, if you have read this Murlis of 2008 until 2010, probably in each Murli Baba is asking us to do a drill where he gives us a statement like you become a angel or you become a incorporeal, and he wants us to focus. Yes, brother. Okay, so let's go on mute. So what Baba is mentioning is, as I mentioned, that each Murli, if we see, Baba is asking us to do a drill to stabilize ourselves in one thought or to stabilize ourselves in one of the sthithis. So why is that Baba mentioning us? In this Murli, Baba has explored that further. So when Baba is mentioning embodiment of experience, whatever you think, whatever self-respect you want to stabilize yourself in, become stable being in that embodiment of that experience. No one can shake that experience because it is self-respect. Swaman. When you are an embodiment of self-respect and are stable in that experience of self-respect, there cannot be any body consciousness there. Okay, so as soon as we stabilize ourselves in self-respect, body consciousness will just vanish. For instance, when there is darkness, Baba has given 3-4 examples just to make these points clear. So let's see what Baba has to say. Where there is darkness, if you switch on the light, the darkness automatically disappears. You don't have to make any effort to remove the darkness or to chase it away. Similarly, when seated on the seat of self respect, the switch of experience is on, so no type of body consciousness can exist there. Wonderful. As soon as we switch on the experience of self respect, body consciousness will just vanish away, just like we switch on the light. There are different types of body consciousness, and the Father has also given different types of self respect. You know about self respect, you make an effort for it, but there is a difference trying to make effort for that experience and in being an embodiment of that experience. Okay, so again, Baba is, because all of us are really making efforts to sustain ourselves, but Baba is mentioning that to make an effort for that experience and being an embodiment of that experience, there is a difference. And this is again similar to the first statement where we paused. Are we doing yoga, or our life is itself a yogi life? So are we trying to make efforts to do the experience, or we are embodiment of that experience? Each moment we are experiencing the self-respect. That is something which Baba is wanting to highlight the difference. That is why you have to do labor. So now, according to the time and at the time of your accomplishing the aim of becoming equal to the Father, Bab Dada doesn't like seeing you labor. Each one of you should check yourself. Do I have a Karma Yogi life? A life is natural and for all time. It is not just sometimes. Become an embodiment of experience. Have you accomplished the aim that you have of a yogi life and of being an image of experience? You yourself should constantly experience the sparkling light of the forehead. You yourself should be stable in that experience. You should be an embodiment of remembrance, not one who has to have remembrance, but one who is in an embodiment of remembrance. The proof of whether you are an embodiment of remembrance or not is that when you are in the embodiment of experience of that remembrance, you will experience yourself to have the power while carrying out any task. Okay, so Baba is giving us a litmus test here. How can we know that are we embodiment of experience, of remembrance, or just we are just remembering those things? So the answer to that, the litmus test is while we perform any actions, we will experience ourselves to have that power. The tasks may vary, but your stage of being an embodiment of experience should not vary. Okay, so for example, if I'm doing a specific task, this is very deep, Murli, hence I'm pausing because if I just read it, probably it will be very difficult to digest. So for example, if I before performing a task, I have experienced angelic stage, for example, and while performing that task, maybe my office work or going from one place to another, if I'm able to sustain that angelic stage, experience yourself to have that power while carrying out that task. Okay, what Baba has mentioned. If I am able to do that, then I'm an embodiment of experience. It should not vary. The stage which I did earlier and while performing that task should not vary. So today, Baba Dada saw why you have to labor. Baba saw that you are number wise according to your effort in becoming an embodiment of experience. Baba Dada has deep love in his heart for every child, and he therefore cannot bear to see one. He loves, he cannot bear to see one, he loves having to labor. No matter in what subject you may have to labor or use the word sometimes in. The reason for this is that you lack being an embodiment of experience. Again, Baba is telling the same thing, just in different words, because we use the word sometimes quite often. So even if we use sometimes, that means that we are not becoming an embodiment of experience. You are an effort maker, but you have not become an embodiment. You should experience being an embodiment of experience of self-respect in all four subjects in a second, so that body consciousness cannot come close to you. Just as darkness cannot remain in the face of light, you don't have to chase it away. It is natural that where there is darkness, there is little or no light. So the greatest authority that is remembered is that of experience. Even if thousands of people try to exchange an experience, they cannot do that. Hmm? So, just like Baba gave the light example, Baba gives second example for us to understand. All of you must have experienced sugar and know that it is sweet. Even if thousands of people try to change your opinion, would they be able to do that? Hmm? So, if anybody asks us that sugar is not sweet, it is sour or it is bitter, probably we may not accept that because we have experienced the sugar ourselves. In any subject, whether knowledge, yoga, dharana, or service, if out of any of the four, if you have to labor in any one of them to finish something, to achieve success in service, to transform your nature in the subject of dharana, to remain unshakable in yoga, to experience a yogi life, if you have to labor or use the word sometimes, it means that you have not become an image of experience in that subject. Okay, so in all four subjects, what we need to attain, Baba is very beautifully explained in this statement. If you have to labor in any of them to finish something, to achieve success in service. Okay, so for the subject of service, success is the key. If you are not able to get that, to transform your nature into the subject of dharana. Dharana is basically transforming any of our nature to remain unshakable in yoga. While doing yoga, if we shake, so our aim is to become unshakable. So three things: success, transformation of nature, and becoming unshakable. And that is what Baba is telling here, that sometimes word should go off. Otherwise, it would mean that you have not become an image of experience in that subject. And experience is not sometimes, it is natural, nature. So, did you hear what the reason is for having to labor? When you experience being seated on the seat of experience, when you experience being an embodiment of a blessing, do you have to labor for at that time? It is a natural experience. This is why, according to the time now, everything is going to happen suddenly. Hmm? Now, Baba is taking that. Starting Baba started with uh, embodiment of self-respect. Then Baba mentioned embodiment of experience. Now Baba is going to ever ready. Even becoming ever ready means embodiment. And why ever ready is necessary? Baba will focus next two paragraphs on that. It is a natural experience. This is why, according to the time now, everything is going to happen suddenly. It is not going to tell you in advance before it happens. There are games of the elements of nature taking place suddenly. It has begun now. New things happen suddenly. There was an earthquake, and in a short time, hundreds of thousands of souls died. Did they know whether they would be alive or not the next day? Many such accidents have begun to take place suddenly in different places, collectively at the same time. A ticket is being clipped for many. So, at such a time, are you ever ready? You will not say that you are still making effort, will you? Ever ready means that, okay, again, Baba is mentioning the definition of ever ready. Ever ready means that whatever thought you have of a blessing or self respect, you become an embodiment of that. And that is why, and this is why Babdada is drawing your attention to this. Are you able to make any blessings fruitful and become experienced in the form of that blessings of self respect? You will definitely have to become that. You may say, I am trying. If you are going to try, do that from now, because practice over a long period of time will help at that time. Do not be an effort maker, but be experienced, because the Almighty Authority has given all of you the authority of experience. Just as you are experienced in the body consciousness, Baba is giving third example. Okay, first example Baba gave of light and darkness. Second, he gave of sugar. Third example is now Baba is mentioning, just as you are experienced in the body consciousness, do you have to remember your body consciousness, thinking that I am so and so? You have been given a name for the body, and so that is body consciousness. Is it not? I am so and so. Even if thousands of people tell you that you are not that and you are this, and they use a different name for you, would you believe them? Would you would you forget your name? The awareness of the body with the name that has given to you at birth has become so firm and natural. If someone is calling someone else with the same name as yours, they are not calling you, but they are calling someone with the same name as yours. So as soon as you hear your name, your attention would go there, and you would think that that person is calling you. This is body consciousness that became so firm. Hmm? Each of us might have experienced. If there are two Praful Bhais in the same hall, someone is calling someone else, but immediately if the name is being called out, I might check who is calling out, because body consciousness is so firm that immediately someone calls out my body name, my attention will go. That's what Baba is mentioning. This body consciousness has become so firm. Similarly, be just as firm in being soul consciousness, in maintaining your self-respect, and in being a master of the self. You say that your life has changed. So what have you changed? Hmm? Beautiful statement. When we tell everybody joining Brahma Kumaris, our life has changed. So what have you changed? Exactly what has been changed? From body consciousness, you have changed to self-respect, and then you have become a master of the self. So check, have I become an embodiment of knowledge? Or have I become one who listens to knowledge and relates it to others? Gyan means knowledge. The practical form of knowledge is said to be knowledge is light, knowledge is might. To be an embodiment of knowledge means that whatever actions you perform will be filled with light and might. Okay, so this is the application of embodiment. Power mentioned the four subjects. So the first subject which Power didn't mention earlier, we read about the dharana, service, and um, yoga, unshakable. So here Baba is mentioning about the knowledge part. Again, I'll repeat. Gyan means knowledge. The practical form of knowledge is said to be knowledge is light, knowledge is might. To be an embodiment of knowledge means that whatever actions you perform will be filled with light and might. They will be accurate. This is known as being an embodiment of knowledge. Do not become one who just speaks knowledge, but be an embodiment of knowledge. To be an embodiment of yoga means to be an conqueror of the physical organs. Okay? Embodiment of yoga, Baba is mentioning. Earlier, Baba mentioned unshakable. Here now, Baba is mentioning conqueror of physical organs. So while doing yoga, if I'm scratching my head, if I'm scratching my ankle, if I'm shaking my body, again, I'm not a conqueror of physical organs. I should be unshakable. So Baba is just exploring that further. Actually, it's already past 6. Allow me 5 more minutes. This is a deep Murli, and then I'll stop after 5 minutes as soon as we end this paragraph. Be a master of the self over all the physical organs. This is known as yoga. That is a life that is yukti yukt. If you are an embodiment of knowledge and yoga, then you will automatically be able to imbibe every virtue. The Baba is coming to the third subject, dharana. So once I become embodiment of knowledge in yoga, automatically I'll be able to imbibe every virtue. Where there is knowledge and yoga, and you are yogyut, the imbibing of virtue takes place automatically. Service will take the fourth subject. Service will take place at every moment automatically. According to the time you may serve through your mind, through words, through actions, through love in your relationships, service will continue to take place continuously. Baba has now next two paragraphs focused on the service part. Service also takes place in relationships and connections. For instance, in the Brahmin family, if your brother or sister is a little sad, a little dull in his or her effort, and is under the influence of a sanskar, if you give zeal and enthusiasm, hmm, again, what needs to be done, Baba is mentioning. If you give zeal and enthusiasm, cooperation or love to that contact soul, there is the charity of service you will accumulate in your account. It is an act of charity to uplift someone who is fallen. To do service of your relations and connects is the duty of a true server. It should not be that service is only service that you receive or is given to you. Any physical action if I'm performing just to read Murli or doing any uh, stool seva, like putting the things in order. Okay, that is one aspect of service. But Baba is mentioning here to uplift others, giving empowerment to others, that will accumulate a lot of fortune to my account. Let service itself continue to take place automatically through your thoughts, words, deeds, relationships, and connections. Many times Bab Dada has seen that in connection with others, some children see that someone's nature or sanskar are not that they should be. However, to have thoughts such as this one is like that anyway, he is never going to change, and it is a waste of time to serve this one. Is this right to have such thoughts? Since you believe that you are those who will make the elements Satopradhan, that you will change the elements, but that one is a human soul and one who calls for himself a Brahmin but is influenced by a sanskar. Since you have issued a challenge to change the sanskars of the elements, that one is a being a soul, someone who has a relationship with you. A true server would definitely have good wishes to earn the charity of serving him. This one is like that anyway. He can never change. These are not good wishes. These are subtle feelings of dislike. Nevertheless, there are that one nevertheless that one is being brother or sister and at least says my Baba. A true server would earn charity in having good wishes for even those who have not served him. Do not push those who have fallen further down. Uplift them. Give them your cooperation. This is known as being a true server, a charitable soul. So check yourself. Do I have this much zeal and enthusiasm for service? This is known as being an authority of experience. So, Bab Dada now wants you to become an image of experience and to use your authority of experience. Okay, so let me stop here because the other paragraph is again big. We can continue that later. A couple of more paragraphs Baba mentioned on this. So let's pause for a minute and then we'll take the journeys. Okay, Om Shanti. So, what would be the key takeaways from today's Murli?
Om Shanti. Today, Baba said that the one who is already in the state of self-respect will be the embodiment of knowledge and experience. So this is the sign, or as you said, the litmus test. If we want to test ourselves whether we are able to remain stable in the state of self-respect, then we can check whether we are the embodiments of knowledge and becoming an embodiment of experience for others. Om Shanti.
Yeah, very true. Anybody would like to share practical example of you experiencing embodiment of a stage and how did it help you? Or how does it help us in any situations? Because whatever Baba mentioned today is basically a practical form, which of course it is very difficult to sustain, but it is not impossible, which what Baba mentions. But while practicing, while making efforts, we might have experienced something. What is the benefit of being an embodiment of a specific thing? Anybody would like to share experience around that?
Om Shanti. Actually, even I am experiencing the same thing because, as Baba has said, that become an embodiment of experience. So sometimes we regret what had happened in the past. We actually need to understand the kalyan behind everything. That is the act of being Trikal Darshi. So once we set ourselves into the state of Swaman, then we automatically realize what Kalyan had taken place. For example, if I had there was a program in our center and I wanted to participate in that. But sometimes situations are such that we do not get satisfied according what with the role we get, or all the things that had happened in the drama. So but when I actually sit with myself and remember Baba, then I remember the aim which I have for what, yeah, Baba has chosen me. So being in that Swaman, that if I want to do a particular activities, for example, a dance. So if I check myself that yes, did I fulfill did I fulfill that aspect? Did I do what I had planned to do? And yes, that had I had accomplished that task, but not the way in which I wanted it to be. So we complain because we do not know actually the right way of everything. So then we start complaining. But when we go through the Murli, Baba gives us the Vidhi. So then I realized that yes, the everything was perfect, and we have to learn to move on. Om Shanti.
Wonderful. I can recall one instance where mm, the morning Murli was very good and I was enjoying it throughout the day. And I chose to be the embodiment of experience of peacefulness, Shant Swarup. And a situation came in my office where suddenly there was a huge spike in some data, and a lot of research investigation wanted to be done. All my team members were in panic, and I just chose to do work uh, with peace and with a pleasant face. And I was talking to Baba, oh wow, Baba, what a beautiful situation. But let my embodiment of experience don't change, don't get altered due to this situation. And very calmly, with composed mind, while others were searching for solutions, I observed that while I was being peaceful, I could get the solution much earlier than anyone else could. I could identify that, if not very fast, but within not much time. And I probably made fix the problem, and things went smoothly. Afterwards, during the night when I checked, I realized that probably being that embodiment helped me getting the root cause of the problem easier, which would be difficult if even I would be anxious or come into the anxiety like my team members would otherwise have done. This was also observed by my team members, and later on they told me, Praful, they complimented me, but then yeah, that is a different thing. But what I experience is that this it helps us in even practical life. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Today, Baba, with respect to service, has given one point that instead of becoming disheartened by others' sanskar and then giving up, being resigned, that iska to sanskar aisa hi hai. There's no point in telling or doing anything for this person. Baba has put across a point where he says, give the lift of our support by telling what that soul, giving that support to that soul, that the soul gets up and not falls further. So what I was getting here is, when we say these or when we are resigned about any particular soul, कि ये ऐसा ही है, we are transforming a negative energy to the person. So instead of he getting up, he may definitely fall down. So, and this is what had been my experience also. While we work in office, if there is any kind of mishap or any kind of mistake is being done by a subordinate or by a colleague, and we keep bombarding them by blaming them, or the same experience can happen in family also. That is not going to be serving the purpose. One classic example which I would want to put across here is once there was a mistake being done by one of the colleagues in the office by not taking care of an assignment which was to be scheduled and completed. And it was in between India and Australia, so the time zones were different. And since it has not happened, we got a lot of irritated or an anger based email from the client. And that's when I got to know that this has happened. And there was a lot of fear and anger within the organization how to deal this with now. So the only place which allowed me to allowed to take this call was, let's take the responsibility of the mistake that has happened. And we picked up the call. I told the client that the mistake has happened from our end. Now let us know what's the way forward from here. Whatever is the consequences, we're ready to bear. And that whole acceptance of the mistake from our end uh, gave that space to the client, and whatever happened thereafter was very peaceful. So yes, we had a lack of time to complete that work, but then whatever next needs to be taken, the steps have been taken from the client side as well. And instead of having a boiling environment at that point of time or a lot of messages exchanged here and there, it got a full stop there, and the next process happened, and the whole project got completed in next 15 days time. So keeping the stage of being stable and calm allows to take the right choices has been an example that I wanted to put across in this particular sharing. Om Shanti.
Wonderful experience, Rakiben. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else? Any last point before we close? Yes, Renuka.
Om Shanti. Good morning, Praful Bhai. Thank you. So many wonderful sharings. I just had an experience with one Kumari. She had some influence from outside. Suddenly, she was moving on fine. And out of the blue, she said, I feel like Brahmin life has so many restrictions. I feel so difficult. And she was truly feeling like no mood for anything like that. Then, as I was talking to her, then I realized the influence from external is so great on her. Then that few days, what we did, we meditate a lot, give her a lot of love, and also keep telling her, like what Baba is telling, the self-respect points. Angel, do you know who found you or not? Do you know previously what were you like? What all happened in your life you yourself have been sharing? And who gave you the strength to move on? Why are you comparing with Lokix? God Himself has put you in His heart throne. You have come to God's lap, no child, and but that particular day also, his Baba said he is the grandfather. Also, I said, you see, your lucky grandfather also has so much of love for you, and now he's gone, but this grandfather is showering you so much love. And like what Baba say, out of the billions of souls, you are the selected one. You are in God's list. Just imagine, and started telling all the self-respect points. These were the motivators for her. See, do you know how much love God is giving you? Can you visualize that? Did you talk to Baba? Did you go to his room? She said, I got no mood to go to Baba's room. I said, why don't you try? How many times he has helped us in many situations? Just for once. Then I quickly took a paper and pen. I gave her, why not? You write to Baba what is in your heart, who has been influencing you. Just tell him, Baba, give clarity. So I said, just give a few days, make effort, you come. You don't worry about your cooking and everything. We will see whatever we have in Baba's Yagya, we'll give you. So we keep motivating and talking to her, and she came out of it. She wrote, and then she was actually initially a bit skeptical to write. I said, don't worry, you don't have to write in put in Baba's boxes. And I mean, you write, you can burn it away, put it to ashes and into the water, and it is gone. That means no coming back. The ashes are not going to get up. And then she was happy, and now she's out of it. She's much, much happier. Baiji. Om Shanti.
Wonderful. So these things really help So yeah, I think we are taking off. So let's stay in silence for 3 minutes. And I would request you all to remember any one or two self-respect or blessings that you received from Baba, which you love the most. And as you remember that blessing or self-respect, visualize the scenes of the day, whatever you all will do today, and experience that you are using that self-respect or blessing in any situation that you come across. May that be during the travel, may that be during conversation with anyone, may that be on the phone calls, may that be doing cooking food, doing office work, anything. You are experiencing yourself as embodiment of that specific blessing or self-respect which you have chosen for yourself today. So I'll pause for 2 minutes. Just think of any one blessing which comes to your mind, which is closest to your heart, and give a promise to Baba that I will become an embodiment today. Throughout the day, I'll experience this in whatever actions I perform. And third thing, visualize yourself doing that. Okay, so thank you everyone. I wish everyone good luck. So today Baba has given us a paper of becoming an embodiment, not for sometimes but throughout. And I'm sure that all of us will pass with good success because Baba is with us. We love Baba, and Baba has mentioned where there is love, there is no effort. So we will enjoy our day with in the canopy of Baba. Have a beautiful day. Om Shanti, everyone. Thank you.
Om Shanti Bhai ji.